And we're good. Today, we're going to talk about the different types of mood swings that happen and some things that can help you before, during, and after. Now, I want to go into this telling you guys that I understand that sometimes a mood swing just takes on a force and a life of its own, and there is no time to prepare or plan to put into place. If you feel like that happens, remember, we're still in this program. You guys are still getting stronger, you're learning, getting better. So if you're finding that it's hard to pinpoint how to even go about fixing it, text me. You know, if you're like, I'm freaking the hell out, I can't even breathe, like, what do I do? And you still can't, using these tools, it's just not happening. Still remember, I still want you to text me. It comes with practice and it comes with balancing your hormones over time. The more balanced you become, the less the mood swings are going to happen, or at least the less intense they're going to be. So just keep that in mind. I don't expect this to be a cure-all, and I'm still here to help you guys and support you guys. So definitely make use of that. Okay, so generally, you find that mood swings, they come on out of the blue. You could be looking at just using our lovely partners who are usually the punching bags. You could just be looking at them and like, what a great person they are. What a wonderful life we have. Things are fantastic. And then they like say something and don't sound excited about it. Or they like say something and it doesn't like, were you even paying attention to me? Or they disagree with you or something. And I mean, I'm not saying that it's hormonal that this happens, but boom, that trigger hits. And depending on which direction you tend to go, especially my PCOS ladies in here, depending on your type of PCOS, you'll notice that it goes one of two ways, either depression or anxiety. And the depression types and anxiety types might not even feel like depression or anxiety, but I wrote down some common terms that just came to mind when I thought about describing these two kind of sides of the spectrum. So on the depression side, if you feel suddenly out of nowhere, you're just weepy, like you're just sad, everything kind of just gets you down in the dumps, you're clingy, maybe like you need extra care, extra attention, extra love. You are having more separation anxiety when you guys aren't together, stuff like that. Tired, lackluster, no motivation, crying fits, or self-deprecation fits where you just bash yourself out of nowhere. I wrote in quotes soggy because I feel like that's the best way to describe a depression mood swing. And more just disappointment. It's very easy for you to feel just disappointed. Now, on the anxiety side of the mood swing spectrum, that's where you tend to have your angry fits. You're antsy or agitated, aggravated, getting aggressive or yelling, being super mad, blaming someone, being paranoid, demanding, isolating. If you freak out, then you're like, just leave me alone. More, just fighting in general. And that, where the depression side may make you feel like you want to stay in bed forever. There's the anxiety side, which makes you so antsy and anxious that you feel more insomnia ridden. So depending on, different things, what your imbalance is, what time of the month it is, in general, triggers, dealing with trauma, of course, that only makes it worse. That's what we need to figure out. So a lot of people, when they come into this, they find that I'm all about the learning about yourself, the letting your own body, your own reactions that you've ignored or buried for so long, using those as clues to learn about yourself. So keep a diary about this. You want to learn, when do you tend to get mood swings more? And you could guesstimate and say, around this time of the month or during my period. That may very well be. But you may still be having them more frequently and not even realizing it. So the idea is to kind of try to find a pattern, find a trigger, find some kind of way where you can maybe see it coming on so you can get out ahead of it, and learn just about yourself. Some people are really surprised at the triggers that they have. They thought that they had everything on lock, they could handle things right, and thought, I don't know, I'm just crazy. I just go off, I fly off the handle out of the blue. when they do this exercise, though, they usually find some kind of common pattern. Is it after the same thing happens at work? You know, your threshold is down to here, you're stressed out the max. Is it when, you know, you turned your husband down or your, you know, partner down for, you know, for sex, and then the next day you're in just a funk, and easy to have mood swings all day. Little things can set you up for adrenal mood swings. So before we get into what to do before, during, and after, depending on whichever type of mood swing you're having, I want to talk to you a little bit about adrenal involvement. Now, this is a really popular topic within all of our calls so far, but it never really gets discussed in terms of the emotional symptoms that come with it. You know, adrenal involvement, we'll talk about energy, cravings, you know, just having more stress hormones and stuff. But mood swings aren't always about periods. Mood swings have a lot to do with adrenal involvement, because adrenaline, it just drives you nuts. You think about our adrenaline rushes happen because our brain thinks there is some kind of impending threat that is either going to cause us to have to get all of our stuff together and get the hell out of there, or fight whatever this threat is. So you literally need the kind of energy, stamina, whatever, to fight or flee. So if you think about it, how many of your average mood swings can be narrowed down and fit into one of those two kind of reactions, where you're going to fight or flee? You know, where you're either secluded, don't want to talk to anyone, you know, thinking that you're the worst, hiding, you know, or I'm going to come at you with everything because I am red with anger. You know, that feeling that just comes over you out of the blue, that's because your body has an adrenaline rush, and that's what happens. So while you may very well have your typical hormonal mood swings with PMS or PMDD, which is very serious, you know, when it comes to adrenal involvement, that those adrenaline rushes throughout the day equal a lot of mental energy. And yeah, they can even, you know, trigger other mood swings to come throughout the day as a result. How many of you guys have had a mood swing where halfway through the mood swing and you are full on fighting, or you are crying your eyes out, and all of a sudden you have this moment of clarity where you feel like a jackass because it's like the clouds cleared and you're just like, why am I acting this way? I'm not even that mad. You know, like, but you can't not be that mad. So then it becomes the quest to dig for ways that you are allowed to still be mad, because you feel so bad about flying off the handle. And it's like waking up and not knowing where you are, you know, all of a sudden. So we keep that stress going because we try to continue the fight. You know, we don't want to just be like, oh, wait, hold the phone. Okay, mood swing. This is over. Forget I was mad. Let's go back to life. I think no one's going to do that either. You know, so you're stuck in this place of like, what do I do? You know, and then that causes more stress, more adrenaline reaction. And it's this awful cycle. So like, until both parties just kind of move on. That never helps. So my hope is to give you a little bit of insight. First step, keep a journal, keep a diary, even if it's notes in your phone. When you have a really bad mood swing, try to think about anything you can about it. What were you doing before? You know, how are you feeling this morning? What happened yesterday? What were you thinking before it came on? What did you keep saying during? Use that as data, because you're going to learn your patterns that way. Okay. Now, aside from that, create a plan ahead of time for this. So when it comes to binging, let's say, I mentioned this a little bit on Sunday's weekly like motivation thing that we started, but have an idea of bulky foods that are hormonally friendly that you can just nosh on and eat as much of, and it doesn't matter. Like seaweed snacks. There's like nothing in those. If you haven't tried them, I know they sound gross, but Hannah Hodgson and I really literally talk about it. I love them. I can eat a case of it in like a sitting. So good. You know, or cucumber slices, cheese, like whatever your snack of choice is. Make sure you have that around, because you know the likelihood of mood swings is around. And you know that when that happens, let's just say if this is the case, you have a harder time not mindlessly noshing on food. That would be something you'd want to prepare for ahead of time. So have that stuff in stock. Make sure you create the best atmosphere at all times for it not to be a problem. That's a hard one because it doesn't sound realistic. Like, what do you mean? I'm just going to make it a peaceful environment wherever I am? No. But the energy you put out there, you being the thermostat, the things that you tell yourself, all of this, making sure you prioritize how you're feeling and where you're at, if you're stuck in a toxic environment, finding a way to get out of it, all of those things is prioritizing your environment so that mood swings like this happen less and less. If you're being triggered by your environment, you're going to be constantly having those adrenaline rushes. Your body's always going to be in fight or flee mode, and it's going to keep you stuck there. But if you're able to, you might feel stuck then because you're like, what do I do? Just leave my job, yeah, but not like now, like start the process of looking to make another move. You're not overreacting. It is scary, but it is worth it. Create the atmosphere all around you that you want peace to grow from. Don't expect yourself to just be this strong, capable person of never being stressed. Meanwhile, you're staying in the situation that is causing that constant stress. That's just so much pressure on yourself. Okay. Now, there's not a whole lot you can do beforehand, like I said, because there's not exactly a warning bell that happens. But let's say we'll skip into during. Okay. Again, there are mood swings that there's no hope for a plan. You just got to go somewhere and yell or cry or something. I get it. But if you really try, and you can do this, try to sit there, try to remove yourself from the immediate situation, even if it's like, moving your chair a little bit farther away, out of the room with people who are pissing you off, whatever. But repeat in your head as you try to breathe, this is a mood swing. It's just annoying until it passes. This is a mood swing. This is a symptom. This is a passing thing. Now, again, sometimes I'm not realizing that it's a mood swing and I'm screaming at Nick and I'm freaking out. Am I going to have this like la-di-da Dalai Lama moment where I'm going to even think to be like, this is but a mood swing? Like, no, not necessarily. But if I start getting really, really hyped up and I can feel it, like I can feel my heart beating and like I'm getting red-faced, I will stop and be like, I can't get this stressed. This is just a mood. So I'll say it out loud too. Like Nick knows by now. I'm like, this is a mood swing. I can't be this stressed. I need to feel better. Like this is just a mood swing. Even if I'm aggravated, calling it out is really important. At least, one, so your partner gets a warning, and two, so that like you yourself know I'm not going crazy. Everything is not going to shit. Like this is just a mood swing. Okay. The next thing, don't share with your partner or just, friends, family, anyone. This is going to sound counterintuitive, but I'll explain. Don't share with anyone, maybe besides me, what the problem is or what you're feeling. Like if, let's say you're sitting there and you're just like biting your nails and thinking, or you're like one hiccup away from crying, and someone is like, what's wrong? That's usually the cue for like the floodgates to open, right? Try your best to just be like, to just straight up say, honestly, I'm having a mood swing. I'm not feeling myself. Just give me a bit and I'll explain. I'm not mad at you. That's the important thing. I'm not mad at you. I'm just trying to calm myself down, and then we'll talk. Even if it's not about them, it's usually not, if it is, and you are mad at them, you can straight up say, I'm not mad at you. I'm just having a mood swing, So, but either way, try to tell them that much only, because anything else you're going to share at that moment, I'm not saying stifle it and never talk about it. But if you know that the odds are that if it's a mood swing, when you're feeling better, it's going to be talked about in a much different way, then that's more efficient to get to a solution than doing it when your full on emotion is kicking in and not really letting your message come through. So If it's a mood swing trigger about a real actual issue, don't just sweep under the rug and forget about it, but don't use that moment to do the sharing because it's going to get in the way. Have a safe word. Have a safe word that when you say it, whether it's sad, whether it's angry, if you're going to turn into Medusa, whatever it is, like make that your safe word that's established with the people around you, that means leave you alone for a little bit. Like, or if you're the type to get mushy and feel like you need pineapple, if you get mushy and you feel like you need more comfort, affection, more check-ins through text, establish that with your safe word. You know, for those of you who are on the depression side of the mood swing spectrum, make what you need known, create a plan ahead of time, and then make a safe word so that when you say it, your partner, your friends, your family, whoever knows how to respond and support you best. Ask for help if you need it. If you are in that moment where your mood swing is building, right? Like you're getting air. That mood swing is picking up air. And first of all, the house is a mess. So you start walking around and throwing out garbage and asking how long does it take to walk to the garbage and throw it out? Why is it on the freaking counter? You know, you walk past the garbage that hasn't been changed since God knows when, and it stinks. And you're like, am I the only one with a nose? You know, and slowly but surely, your blood's boiling, right? Don't wait till that point. And don't curse someone out to do the garbage either. Like in that situation, be like, you know, hey, like get the garbage bag, go up to them and be like, can you please take the garbage out for me? And then move on. You know, when you're seeing things and there's like excuses for your blood to boil more and more, the way you can kind of get ahead from that is just straight up being blunt and asking for help. Ask what you need. You need an extra hug? Hey, can I have an extra hug? If anybody's partner says no to that, I'm sorry. Like, unless they're like social distancing or something, you know, but hugs, free hugs all the time. Okay. Let's see what else. Fight it. That's a big one. Fight it. Know that it's happening and fight it in your head. When your mood swing tells you that it's hopeless, say that's bullshit. That's mood swing talk. It's not hopeless. It's just I'm just shitty right now. You know, like you say, oh, this isn't working. It is working. I can really make sure I can get back in and fine tune some things and see what's up. This is just a stupid mood swing. Like try to argue the thoughts that are invasive because, you know, as someone with OCD, intrusive thoughts is like a constant in my life. Like I have learned to not give them any credence, not let them bother me. They come and go. I realize I'm a little nutty. It's okay. It's part of my personality, you know, but whenever I know I'm not myself, like I know that I'm overly bashing myself or I'm really overly being harsh and it feels like I can't not be that way, then that's when I fight it and I say like, this isn't rational. This is just my emotions. Like, this is just my hormones being an asshole, you know? Keep fighting that narrative in your head, even if it still doesn't feel great in the moment. It helps you feel like it's not always going to be like this. This is just a period of time until this passes, okay? So, after. How do you handle it after? Apologize if you freaked the hell out, but do so without beating yourself up. You don't need to go up to them and be like I'm so sorry, like I suck, I hate that I do that, you deserve better. Don't send yourself into another mood swing with your apology and now head into the depression side where you just hate yourself, because that's very common after an anger mood swing, especially. If you said really mean things that weren't helpful and just, you know, either that person that you said them to is so desensitized to this point they don't even care, or maybe they're really hurt by it, you know, telling them like, I didn't mean specifically X, Y, and Z. Like, I didn't mean to call you like a complete asshole or tell you like I hate your clothes. Like, I don't know, whatever you say that's mean. but be specific. Like that was just my emotions coming out in a mood swing. I apologize. Now, if there is a real issue that you need to talk about, you want to be able to do that. So you can say, you know, like, let's talk. I do want to talk about blah, blah, blah. But I know my emotions, like I really came at you really strong. You know, we don't have to talk about it immediately, but let's set up a time to talk and revisit this. Now, if you live, sorry, I'm covered in mosquito bites. I've been trying not to scratch this whole time. So bad. But like, if you might think it's weird to set up a time to talk with someone that you live with, right? It's okay. It's weird, yes. It's very efficient, because I've said this before. Use a cold spoon on the mosquito bites. I thought you meant your partner. I was like, oh, kinky. But I will for sure be freezing some spoons. This is atrocious. So it's not weird. It's efficient. And when you set up a time to get together and talk about an issue, yeah, it's awkward in the beginning, but both of you aren't there to fight. You're there to solve. So the whole convo kind of goes different. You know, it's not like defenses are up and they're like, no, I'm going to prove that you're the jerk, because nothing happens. But if you say, like, my mood swing made me really nasty, you didn't deserve that, I'm really sorry, but I want to talk about X, Y, and Z. You know, like tonight around, like after dinner tonight, can we like just chat about it and see if we can make sure that this doesn't happen again? I don't know. That sounds a little gross. I feel like a manager reprimanding someone, you know, but you get my drift there. Set aside a specific time for that purpose. If the plan, AKA the safe word, the binge trigger fix, all that, if that didn't work, then discuss with your partner or friend or family, whatever, discuss with them like how you can improve that for next time. Like if something went wrong, feel like, you know, when I said the safe word, like we kept going back and forth at each other. How can we both make sure that when that safe word is said, like I don't come back out of the bedroom screaming and like you don't keep yelling at me? Like what can we do? Problem solve together. If you're single and you're having a mood swing all by yourself, text me. I'll be your partner. Okay? So, telling your person you freaked out at that you're much better now. I know that might feel to you like, ew, I'm like, I had a freak out. I'm much better now, you know, but it's just validating that that person can be normal around you. Like, okay, you know, now I don't have to be on edge about the mood swing, or I don't need to give you space. Like we can resume as normal. So saying like, you know, I had a mood swing and I'm much better now. Even if you didn't freak out necessarily, it's kind of puts an end to that so you can move on. Okay, so binging as a result. This is huge, okay? Don't fall for the trap of mindlessly eating something that's off protocol and let that send you into a mood swing. Because when that happens, that will become, oh, I screwed up already today. Well, let's see how, like, you know, what's the point? I'll try again tomorrow, I guess. And that's when you just binge the rest of the night and hate yourself. Eating one thing that is off protocol is not what's going to do you in. It's the continuing to eat it. It's the having more than a bite, having more than one portion of it, having it not be a worth it moment, AKA having a mood swing make you mindlessly snack on something, and then mid-bite you're like, shit. And then the whole day is shot. That's when it becomes a much bigger emotional issue, because that creates a whole cycle, you know? So if you're gonna have something that's not on your protocol, then friggin' have it, but have it be that one thing, you know, and just keep going like it didn't happen. If that's really difficult to do, text me, because truly, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but that alone can send you into a mood swing. You know, I thought I was doing so well for so long and I didn't even realize, and I just ate this thing. What the hell's wrong with me? Don't make that worse by continuing to pile on the punishment. There's no need. Okay. So text me if you struggle with that. What else I got here? Okay. Listen, if you're in a bingy mood, and we all do know that feeling where if you have to sit and negotiate with yourself in your head whether or not you should be eating something, I don't mean a worth it question. I mean, there's some extra fries left, or there's two cookies, two oatmeal raisin cookies left over from your kid, or whatever. Stuff that's just there. There's a difference between worth it, and that's another Zoom. Worth it and negotiating with yourself. If you are negotiating, you are bingy. If you're in a bingy mood, you want to make sure you do not do the I'm just going to have one and not have any more than that. The second you say that to yourself, you're setting up a binge. The second and I'm not saying all of you, and I'm not saying all the time. There's definitely times where, you can feel bingy and have just one and move on. But why would you risk it? Why would you play that game? Like, if you know that you're putting yourself in a situation where you're going to feel really bad having to discipline yourself when you want something, this is extreme. But if you are on the freaking war path and you need to look out for your best interest, take one piece out, put it aside, throw out the rest, or I don't know, literally take it into the living room and place it in front of company. I don't know, do whatever you have to do, but get it actually out of there. Like don't just leave it there on sheer willpower alone, okay? Take your one piece, get your bulk binging food, keep it around you. Like you can literally just keep food. Like this is awesome. I'm going to have one piece of this and then I can eat whatever I want of all this stuff. And I'm just going to nosh until my heart's content. And that's how you kind of skirt around a binge because you're still having a piece, but if you leave it up to, I'm just going to have one, the second you take your third bite of your second piece, it goes out the window because you're pissed off at yourself subconsciously. You don't know why you could not just have one. And all of a sudden, this food has a life of its own and has caused you to have a mood swing because you're having an adrenaline rush from the stress. Don't screw yourself, okay? Text me if you need help with this. Even if you're mad at me, text me if you need help with it. Yeah, that's the last part I have here. Don't waste your time being down in the dumps. I don't expect any of you guys to just hear something from me once and then just have it. There would be no point of being a coach at that point. I could just type everything up or make a big video and there you go. The reason we need coaches is because we could know and you all know this, we could know the info. How we implement that info is a whole different story. So if you struggle implementing the info, it's not a bad indication of who you are. It's not saying you're dumb or you just can't figure it out or, there's no hope for you. It's that it takes time and repetition and using the things I teach you in different situations. And that's not easy to do when you only learn it once or hear it once. So make sure, you're reaching out if you need to. I think I mentioned this in the last few Zooms, but we are in the process of hiring on an assistant coach, which is super exciting. All of you guys with me, and until we get that coach up and running, will be grandfathered in. So you'll still speak with me one-on-one, of course. But when we bring on that assistant coach, you guys will be getting her as an additional resource. So if you need to reach out for help with binge eating patterns, or you're about to friggin' break a garbage can over your spouse or your kid's head and you don't want to live that life, whatever, and you can't reach me or you're not hearing back in the chat or anything like that, you have an assistant coach soon who can help you for sure. All right, so before we jump here, I want to know, type it in the chat, what today stood out to you guys the absolute most? What really connected with maybe your reality and how mood swings play out for you? Type it up in the chat while oh my God. I don't even realize that it's like 8:30 already. I swear to God. Cold spoon, huh? Oh my God. I need him. I don't know why. I have this theory that diabetics, like, I don't know, maybe it's because we have more sugar in our blood or something, but mosquitoes love us. Like, damn, I got like welts. I've only been outside for like the last 3 days this season, really. Okay, so I need to have a better plan for my anxiety or mood swings because trying to figure out in the moment. Yeah, I mean, I would venture to say it's impossible in the moment to then plan and try to figure it out. You can have support, have someone talking you through it, of course, but to do it yourself without having that plan in place, yeah, it's impossible. It's really hard. I mean, our adrenaline's being released to save our lives. But if there's no situation in front of us that's life or death, it's like you're reacting that strongly biologically for a reason. It's just really inconvenient because there's no, I mean, thank God, but there's like no life or death situation right there. So, okay. Why isn't my mouse working? How bizarre. Okay. Um, Steph, you never get bit? That is crazy. No, don't take my theory away. It was like my one saving. I'm like, maybe because I'm a diabetic, the mosquitoes love me. But I think you're right because my mom told me when I was a kid I would get welts too, and it's just maybe I'm just allergic. I don't know. I tend to mix the two type of mood swings, and I typically used to end up binging at the end of them. Having the safe word is going to be super helpful for me. Yeah, it helps. I mean, anytime you don't have to think. I always recommend to my clients who have issues with convenience eating because they wait until they're really hungry. It's like going to a grocery store when you're really hungry, and then trying to think and say, what's hormone friendly? Like until it becomes intuitive and you have to think. If you have to think in the moment, not happening. It sucks. So thinking ahead of time, you do yourself a favor. Okay, so then what's resonated with me is the extreme anger, mood swings, and having game plan to help me come out of it. Yeah, it's important because it feels life or death in the time. Like it feels like, oh my God, it's never gonna get better. Everything sucks. I'm unlovable. I've definitely been there. Acknowledging that the emotions are a passing moment/moments. Yeah, when I began therapy for my OCD, my doctor told me she was like, think of it as cheesy as this is, it helps me. Think of the intrusive thoughts as lily pads or like leaves on top of the water or whatever, and there's a stream going by. All they are the lily pads going by or the leaves floating by. That's it. You can acknowledge them, you can see that they're there, and you can understand that they're a passing thing that aren't real. And it sounds so simple. It sounds like, well, yeah, duh, it's not groundbreaking, but in the moment, that thought really, really does help a lot. Okay, I have mood anxiety swings daily, and it's really hard to get out of that funk. So I think being able to talk myself down will be extremely helpful. Yeah, and if you can't, again, reach out. I want to remind everyone, I just remembered I skipped right over the bullet point, but the 5-5 rule, there is a live recording, I think it is, in the Academy page is just 5-5. I would go give that another watch just as like a refresher if you haven't. And if you've never seen it, definitely check it out. 5-5 helps me with anxiety attacks most of the time. Like before that, you go over the ledge, mood swings, stuff like that. So definitely check that out. All of the mood swing stuff definitely resonated with me, mostly because I definitely was having mood swings all day and tried to ignore the fact that they were, in fact, mood swings. Drove my boyfriend crazy. I'm now realizing I should probably apologize. Yeah, I mean, don't feel bad if you're like, well, I want to go apologize for every mood swing I've ever had. You can instead just thank them. You can acknowledge and just be like, well, I've been dealing with my mood swing stuff. Like, I just want to thank you so much for being so patient with me. It's a whole different vibe. Don't feel bad about it, but use that as an opportunity to recognize the patience in the person you're with, and that this is just as much their diagnosis. Well, not just as much, but it's a lot of their diagnosis too. You know, we didn't choose to have this stuff, but our partners do. They choose that. They choose us every day. So even if we have to say thank you for it, it's not a surprise that you have mood swings to your partner. I will tell you that much. So, okay. I also didn't think about how much stress I've been having. We texted about this earlier. I need to work on managing my stress and maybe including some adaptogens to help my body remain calm. Yeah, adaptogens are great. Oh, I wonder where that video is, if it's still up. Yeah, so I'll try to dig that video up, or at least the post that I did on like adaptogenic mushrooms and stuff like that. Not the fun mushrooms, guys. like just boring medicinal mushrooms, you know. So I will get you some info on that, but that could definitely help. And I would watch the videos on the current, like the I hate that it saved it as this title because I think it was really dumb of me to make it this, but the Surviving 2020 YouTube one from last week, I think. And then the coronavirus reset that I did back in March. Those focus on like cultivating the space around us and the environment around us to help us get through really high intensity times. Mosquitoes hate vitamin B, so you might be deficient. Ooh, I like that. You gave me something to look into tonight. That might be a post tomorrow. So, and if it works, I swear to God, I'm just gonna like come there and just kiss you on the forehead because I hate mosquitoes so much. Game plan to help me talk myself down would make me so much better. I called my mom in a freaking panic attack the other day and just yelled the whole time, even apologizing to her for doing it while still continuing to yell and bawl my eyes out. Yeah, it's like, wait, what is it? The Tasmanian devil, like the cartoon, where it's just like just a ball, and then, you know, that's what it feels like. I feel like when you're having a mood swing, where it's just like, you know, freak out. It's embarrassing when other people witness it. I feel you. I have definitely embarrassed the shit out of myself in the past. So it happens to the best of us, but you know, again, probably not a surprise to mom that you have mood swings. So maybe just thank her for being so clutch. Okay, I love that. That's really helpful. I'm going to thank John as soon as class is done. Sounds good. Okay, so I think this was a really great class. I hope that you guys took something away from it. Some of the tips may be simple, maybe silly, but I think it's important that we acknowledge that how we behave, our mood swings, how we react a lot of times is a direct connection to our hormone triggers. So having a plan is really the way to go. If you need anything at all, remember, there's no extra points for not needing help. I care that you get these things fixed and feel better. I don't care that you do it on your own or not. I like helping. So let me know if you need any support, and I will catch you guys soon. So, night, bye.